All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. To pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come to my Abba's name, and you receive me. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua, man. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Shalom, man. Amen. To every a season and time, to every purpose under Shamayim, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up, plant it, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of shalom. What profit have he that work in that where he labor? Yeah, he came on his own. I have seen the travail which Alahym give to the sons of Adam to be exercised in it. He has made every beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that Alahym make from the beginning to the end. I know that no good in them, but for to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor, the gift of Alahym. I know that whatsoever Alahym do, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. Alahym do that should fear before him, and that which has been is now, and that which to be have already been, and Alahym requires that which is past. Now, we concluded last night, with some things talking about the time for love, and we got some more things in there, but hold on, man. Boop had a question about something, so we're going to go ahead and slide that in right now. I want you to go ahead, man. You can pick me at Luke 16, man. You can go ahead and start at verse 1, man. I work my way around it. Luke 16:1.
And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
That he did what?
Wasted his goods.
That he did what?
Wasted his goods.
See, when you look at that wasting the goods, man, let me show you how they done wasted his goods, man. Jeremiah chapter 23, man. Give me verse 7, man. That's what's in my mind. Jeremiah 23:7. Go find your mama.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah,
my foot hurt,
that they shall no more say, Yahuwah live, which brought up the sons of Yasharal out of the land of Egypt.
Shalom, brother Marcus.
But Yahuwah live, which brought up and led the seed of the house of Yasharal out of the north country and from all countries where I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man who wine have overcome because of Yahuwah, because of the words of his Kadash.
You say he like a drunken man because of his word. Say he a man like what?
Like a man who had wine overcome because of Yahuwah, because of the words of his Kadash.
Tell him what overcome means, man. He say he like a man who wine that overcame. I guess we can still work in a little the time of love in with it. Praise Yahuwah.
That's a bar. That's to pass over, by, or through, to alienate, to bring, to carry, to do away. To
see that there? To do what? To do what? To pass over, right? Let's swing back over here to Exodus 12, man. We talked about it the other night, man. Give me 12 and 12 one more time, man. Exodus 12 and 12.
For I'll pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I, Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
He'll do what?
Pass over you.
Tell him what Passover is right there, man. Come on with it. You got your arm rolled up. You ready to fight somebody? Somebody took your lunch, man? You tired?
Pass is Pesach. That's the Passover to spring over.
What's that word again?
Pesach.
Pesach. So that's the word that's the word that you'll know for Passover. That nigga said that firmly. No, ain't nobody taking my lunch. Shoot, what's that nigga name for Friday? She'll take your lunch money. Lady Ray. I don't know what her name was in the movie. Baby D take your lunch money. That's a big woman. Shoot, that nigga sit on top of you. You ain't getting up. Shit, hell, I ain't getting up. You know what I'm talking about? That's a big woman. Give me Exodus 15 and say, shoot, that ain't just because of shoot. That one, she clearly had to be at least I'm 243 right now. She had to be every bit of 225. You know what I'm talking about? I just seen a woman say the average woman weigh between 165 pounds and 200. That nigga was like, damn, 200? I was like, boy, if the average woman 200 pounds, boy, nigga, we doomed. That's a big woman. That nigga say, you know, will they be 6'4", 225? Nigga say, how many 6'4" women you done met? 6'4", 225, that's a linebacker. She need to be playing in the NFL at that rate. Because if I was 6'4", 225 with some speed, I would have. I couldn't run, so there's that. You know what I'm talking about? Exodus 15 and 7.
And in the greatness of your excellency, you have overthrown them that rose up against you.
You did what?
Overthrew them that rose up against you.
Go ahead.
You sent forth your wrath, consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of your nostrils, the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as a heap. The depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. Mm-hmm. The enemy said, I'll pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them.
You got to realize that Pharaoh got the same portion that the beast got. Pharaoh got the same mind. He wasn't rising up against Yasharal. He was rising up against Yahuwah. At the end of the day, this is what you got to realize, man. What did Israel do to Pharaoh? Absolutely nothing. Moses came and told him Yahuwah was doing all that to him. So that's who he had the problem with. Yasharal ain't do nothing to Egypt or to Pharaoh. You ain't do nothing. You was sitting at the house chilling. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
He says, I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. You did blow with your wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto you, O Yahuwah, among the gods? Mm-hmm. Who is like you, esteemed in Kadash, fearful, praises, doing wonders? You stretch out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. Yeah. You in your mercy have led forth the people, you have redeemed.
Till you redeemed.
You have guided upon your Kadash habitation.
Till you what?
People shall hear, be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestine. Mm-hmm. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them, and all the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away.
They're going to melt away.
Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of your arm. They shall be as still as a stone till your people pass over.
Till your people what?
Pass over.
Till your people what?
Pass over.
Whom you've what?
Till people pass over what you have purchased.
Now tell them what Passover and purchase means.
A bar.
I think it was a bar there. So a bar is to pass over, to alienate, to pass over.
Purchase is kana.
Kana, I bought you. I possess you. See how that lay you back to what's in 1 Corinthians? And he say, don't you not that you've been bought with a price? That man paid for you coming out of Egypt with blood, and he paid for you coming out of Egypt again with blood. You know what I'm talking about? He's always done paid with you with blood. Man, this nigga got something, man. I got punctured by a nail twice in the head. What you mean? Support? I'll probably keep the blood from flowing down. Muffin, bring me your chair. I want y'all to think about that. So let's go back to Jeremiah 23 so you can see how they done wasted his goods. Not the chair you sitting in, your chair, your actual chair. Your green chair. It's right there. Thank you. Now let's look at how they wasted his goods. What verse you stopped in Jeremiah 23?
10.
Read again.
Say, for the land is full of adulterers, for because of swearing in the land mourn, the pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force not right.
No, that don't sound like what you just read.
Verse 9.
Verse 9, Jeremiah 23 and 9.
My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man and like a man whom wine have overcome.
So remember that word overcome means as wine that's passed over. So when you go back to Matthew 26 and 26, look at it like this here then.
And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and baruch and brake and gave to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave to them, saying, drink you all of it.
Drink what?
Drink you all of it.
Do what?
Drink all of it.
Why?
For this is my blood of the New Testament.
What is for?
Which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
If this wine is for the remission of sins, guess what that means he doing? That means he passing over. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to sit back and look at it. Jeremiah said he was like a man who was overcome or passed over with wine. You got to realize something. That same wine passed. Let me tell you something, man. Let's just go ahead and cut to the chase with it, right? Shalom, brother Shawu, man. Indeed, bro. That's already done. You ain't got to even say nothing like that. You know what I'm talking about? So check it. We're dealing with coming out of Egypt, correct? What's some of the elements that we done discussed this week about Egypt? Shalom, bro. Blessings, bro. Blessings, man. Just stay strong, man. You know what I'm talking about? What's some of the things that we discussed about Egypt? If you ain't gonna give me none, I'm gonna give it to you. I ain't got time to waste. Huh?
I said coming out without having to fight.
You had came out without having to fight. You ain't know no word. You was in there sinning. You know what I'm talking about? So guess what that blood was for to cause you to pass over? He shed that blood for the remission of your sins. See, that's an element dealing with coming out of Egypt that don't get discussed a lot. Because he said your people was committing sins while they were there because they were worshiping the gods of Egypt. That's why he had to execute judgment on the gods of Egypt so that you could see that they were nothing but the work of men's hands. You understand? So when you put in that blood, because what he said, let me put it this way, right? What's the penalty for committing sin? Yeah. What did he say if you put the blood on the doorpost of your house, what was going to pass over you?
Death angel.
The death angel. So that means if you had no blood on your house, that means guess what happened with your sins? They weren't remitted. We'll go back to what we read last night when he said, I'm going to cover your sins in Ezekiel 16, correct? Because he said it was a time of what? So when you see him telling you to put that blood on the doorpost in Egypt, that's a time of love to remit your sins. Now you get to come into the land to be able, now you get a chance to learn to God. See, let me show you this here. Ephesians chapter 4, man, verse 17. Maybe this will help you out in the construct of what I'm talking about from the law, man. We'll get back to Jeremiah 23. Joanne, you acting up.
Say this I say therefore and testify in the Lord that you henceforth walk not as other Gentiles
that you walk as not as other what?
Gentiles walk.
Now remember, who was they among? What does Gentile mean definition? Goyim, nation. Don't walk as the Egyptians walk. Is that not what Yahushua said to them in chapter 24? Come on, man.
In the vanity of their mind.
In the what?
The vanity of their mind.
That's all Egypt was doing.
Having the understanding darkened.
Having their what?
Understanding darkened.
And what's one of the plagues he called to happen to Egypt?
Dark.
So he was showing you that their understanding was darkened because they didn't know where they were going. He said, he that walk in darkness know not where he going. The people ain't know where they were going. He was trying to show you that you wasn't picking up what he was putting down. Come on, man.
Being alienated from the life of Alahym.
Tell him what alienated mean in the Greek.
That's a palario. That's to alienate, to estrange, to be shut out from one's fellowship and intimacy.
Shoot, I don't know what verse it is. I just know in Ephesians chapter 4.
It's 18.
18. So now you say you estranged. Read again.
Say having the understanding darkened and being alienated from the life of Alahym.
So you were estranged from the life of Alahym. Now let's pause. When you were in Egypt, were you not estranged from the life of Alahym because your understanding was darkened because you didn't know him? Listen what he say.
Through the ignorance that is in them.
Through the what?
Ignorance that is in them.
What's what we read and talked about last night, man, in Exodus chapter 3. What did Moses say? What if they ask me, what is his what? So they were asking, what is his name? That means they ain't even know his word because you can't call on him whom you have not heard. How you going to believe on somebody you ain't never heard about? Continue.
Because of the blindness of their heart, who being past, feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness.
That's what they were doing in Egypt.
But you have not so learned Mashiach.
He said, but you ain't not so learned the Hamashiach.
If so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him.
But hey, man, the gospel was preached unto them as well as unto us, but the gospel didn't preach them because not being mixed with the faith of them that heard it. Go ahead.
As the truth is in Yahushua, that you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man.
Didn't Moses tell you to circumcise your heart? When you get circumcised with the circumcision without hands, that's taking off the body of sin to put on the new man. Like we were talking about in Colossians 3 last night. Go ahead, man.
Which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
It's corrupt according to... Do you not realize that all those deceitful lusts, that's what they were complaining about in Egypt? That's what they were bringing with them? Let me tell y'all something, man. Oppression don't get lust up out of you. Because if oppression got lust up out of you, your forefathers wouldn't have been lusting coming up out of Egypt. A brother I know, man, he had posted something which was a real, you know what I'm talking about? When you look at it just from an objective standpoint, it's a logical conclusion on his part and a reasonable question. You know what I'm talking about? He was looking at it that maybe Moses had his speech impediment because he was learning ways of Egypt, but not necessarily Hebrew. I don't see it that way, but I could understand why he would see it that way. You know what I'm talking about? If he had a speech impediment, you got a speech impediment no matter what language you speak. You know what I'm talking about? But he mentioned because Moses, how long was Moses away from the house of Yasharal? 40 years. So he was looking at the people didn't know him like that. So he was looking at it as that maybe that's the reason they sized him all the time. But remember, what did Yahuwah say? They're not sizing you, they sizing me. Because he mentioned they didn't size Aaron like that. But they did, though. You know what I'm talking about? They did size Aaron like that. And he would mention in the part of because he wasn't the one the people chose. But one thing for certain and two things for sure. If the people chose you, I know you wicked as hell. You know what I'm talking about? If the people choose you, I know you wicked as hell. You know why? Because Yahuwah ain't had no hand in it. And you know where you got booked for that at? Saul. You know what I'm talking about? Because Saul is who the people wanted. So Yahuwah give people what they wanted. You know what I'm talking about? You got to look at the one that Yahuwah picked, the people don't never want. Yahuwah picked David, they ain't want him. Don't sit back and say they all love David. Didn't they say in Chronicles, or some of them say we ain't got no part with the house of David? Didn't they slap? The people didn't want Moses. The people definitely didn't want Yahusha. The people never want the people who Yahuwah choose. Because they're going to come speaking Yahuwah's words. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to pay attention to that. See, that's the first part of the game that you're supposed to have. If the people chose him, God ain't with him. You should already know that. Because who the people choose going to speak to what the people want. Who the people choose, they're going to minister to the people's flesh. Well, yeah, that's a little different. We on our way to it, because we in that chapter. We just got on our way to it. But we on our way to it. Yeah, you got to remember that there, man. Who the people choose don't necessarily mean Yahuwah chose. You got to look at that, man. It's a lot of brothers highly esteemed. Let me tell you something, man. If you a servant of Yahuwah, men not going to highly esteem you. Get Luke 6:23, man. I let the Lord tell you. This nigga here, he matching like his dad. They got cuffs on your pants. He ain't put no polo shirt on though, Noah. Noah looking like, man, I'm tired of seeing these. Go ahead, man. That's how it is.
And rejoice you in that day and leap for joy. For behold,
Luke 6:21.
Baruch that hunger now, for you shall be filled. Baruch you that weep now, for you shall laugh. Baruch are you when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you, and shall reproach and cast out your name as evil. For
and
the cast
out your name as what?
As evil.
For whose sake?
Son of man's
sake. For whose sake?
Son of man's sake.
And if it ain't for Yahuwah's sake, you ain't nobody. Go ahead.
Rejoice you in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward great in Shamayim.
Great in Shamayim.
For in the like manner did the fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for you shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, and for so did their fathers
to the false prophets. Look at that. Notice how he say, blessed are those that mourn, and woe to them that laugh. What we just looked at, he say, what a wise heart had. In the house of mourning, not in the house of mirth. Because if you're laughing, that means it's good times for you. You enjoying yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Come on back, man. Jeremiah 23.
You want to finish that Ephesians?
You can. I don't think there's not much left. Go ahead, finish it. Ephesians 4. You got to call them chapters out. People don't be knowing. You know where you read from, but the people don't. Ephesians chapter 4, what verse?
18.
Verse 18.
Says, Said having understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Alahym through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness. But you have not so learned Mashiach, if so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him as the truth is in Yahushua.
That's how you know they hadn't heard him when they was in the wilderness, because all they were worrying about was they lust and they greed. And you know the uncleanliness, because they were fooling with the Moabite women. Yo, shalom, bro. They were fooling with the Moabite woman with Bel Peor out there eating coochie and blowing booty. And I say that if you know what go along with Bel Peor. Because see, the action of eating coochie and blowing booty wasn't the problem. It was why they were doing it. You know what I'm talking about? See, some things you have to look at, you got to look at, man, it's not the problem ain't what you did, it's why you're doing it. Go ahead.
That you put off the former conversation concerning the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust, and be renewed in the ruach of your mind.
And be made new and get a new mind.
And that you put on the new man.
Put on the what?
The new man.
Put a repaired man on.
Which after Alahym is created in righteousness and true kadah.
That's what he was trying to get him to do out of Egypt. They didn't want to do that. Hell, niggas don't want to do it now. You got some brews out here that be upset. You can't be calling out people niggas. You might as well look how you behave. You know what I'm talking about? Look how you behave. Man, we around here with platitudes, falsehoods, and capping, man. Niggas sour as hell. These niggas out here drunks. They druggies. They liars. They whoremongers. They idolaters. Malicious and spiteful. Shalom, my G. All type of stuff, bro. And nobody don't care about none of that. This is how I know a lot of dudes wasn't raised. This is how you know God ain't sent these niggas. And these niggas wasn't raised by their daddy. Because you give too much care about people's feelings. Man, not a single solitary servant of Yahuwah gave a damn about your feelings. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't care nothing about trying to uplift you to feel like a king and queen when you in a state of nation. How you gonna uplift somebody who in debt? I got to give you the words for you to come from up out of that. See, what a lot of people think at is when you focus on the things that'll get the people damned, the people think you talking to them. I ain't talking to you. Yahuwah talking to your heart and you hate him for it. Because unless I say you a wicked bastard, then that's the difference. But look at, man, it's all type of stuff that books say you supposed to do in the congregation. That's why niggas don't want to be in one. Because the book say if you're sour, people supposed to put you out. You're supposed to be ostracized. We ain't supposed to deal with you. You know what I'm talking about? Look at, man. Let's say we had 1,000 acres of land out there. Houses everywhere. And there's a nigga around there committing adultery. That nigga's supposed to go. He ain't supposed to stay there. You know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed to look at, we all the same people. That wicked nigga's supposed to go so he can be ashamed. And everybody on them 1,000 acres will fear and know I ought to fear God, for I be the next one get put on blast and put up out of here. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's supposed to happen. If a nigga around there causing strife and contention, he supposed to go. You know what I'm talking about? See, we ain't talking about, oh, he did it one time. You step to him and you correct him. He keep doing it. Boy, the book, that's what your law say to do. Well, he got to go. See, instead of stoning him, you tell him, hey, man, you got to slide, bro. You can't sit around here. You can't be around here doing that because that emboldens other people to do it. Because all you're going to do is recruit other people to be wicked with you. We can't be looking like, oh, we Israelites, we got to show grace. God showed you the grace. I ain't got to show you nothing. You get your wicked butt from around here. Look here, man. If you got a daughter and she around here thought and botting, that means my daughter might think she can thought and bot if ain't nobody saying nothing to her. What he did to Eli, he said, man, I'm going to go ahead and kill you because you ain't restraining your sons and you know what they doing. He ain't sit back and say, no, we got to uplift the people, brother. Is that what he said? He said, no, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill them. And I'm going to slide from around here. Get it for them so they think I'm making that up. 1 Samuel chapter 2, man. I don't want a nigga think I'm making that up, man. Give me 2 and 5, man. Tell me what it say. It's another example of somebody misusing this man's goods. Because Eli and his sons were misusing this man's goods. Look at you, let him be his thing. Let me make sure I even want you to start at verse 5. Ain't gonna give it to him like it need to be gave. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga don't like it, shoot. Unsubscribe, nigga. I don't give a damn. Start at verse 1. See, that's the difference, right? See, a lot of brews care about how many people slide around, how many. I wouldn't give a damn, nigga. You ain't got to be around here. This channel ain't monetized. I don't get no money from you watching. But this man's name gonna be esteemed and his word gonna go forth, and you ought to repent if you're contrary to it. Save your soul, man. Stop all this other stuff, man. That man ain't gonna care nothing about no black power movement you coming with when you stand in front of him. He want to see that you obey my word. Oh, you didn't? Get from out my face. You ain't believing what I promised? Get from out my face. You wasted what I gave you? Get out my face. You know what I'm talking about? That man don't care about none of that stuff. You care about that. And you want him to care about it, and he don't. He told you what he cared about. But you trying to tell him, no, that ain't what he really meant. Hell, you mean ain't what he really meant. That's what he said he meant. That's the same stuff y'all say these women be doing on them. They don't listen to what you say you want, right? You say you want a woman who in shape. That's what these niggas on the internet say, don't they? They say they want a woman who quiet and cooperative. Ain't that what it say? Don't the book say why a living man complain for the punishment of their sins? That man say a quiet and meek spirit is a great price to him. That ain't just for no natural woman. Don't sit back and talk about these women and you ain't that kind of woman to your husband. You a hypocrite. You ought to go to hell. Straight up and down, you ought to go to hell. I know the rest of these brute niggas won't tell it to you, but I'll tell it to you. Because God wants your soul to be saved. I don't know what these niggas want. What you want to go to hell for? What benefit you getting out of that? Man, and when I say go to hell, I ain't even talking about the torment. I'm talking about being separated from the living Alahym. Why would you want that? Bump the fire and the worms. You know the fire and the worms come with it. But with the fire and the worms comes separation from Yahuwah. You lived your whole life separated from Yahuwah. Then you hear the word and you continue to be separated from Yahuwah. And then you think you're not going to be separated from him when his kingdom comes? Why would you want to be separated from the essence of life, the essence of peace, the essence of righteousness? Why would you continue to conduct yourself in a fashion that will keep you separate from him? And then try to come up with ways to stay separate from him. What, I don't even make common sense, man. You know what I'm talking about? That don't make no type of sense. Go ahead, man. Please don't hit my foot.
It's saying, Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiced in Yahuwah. My horn is exalted in Yahuwah. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies because I rejoice in your salvation. None Kadash as Yahuwah.
I think I got you in the wrong spot that we don't even need to be. 12. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 12.
Now the sons of Eli, sons of Belial.
Now I noticed that it said, now Eli was what? What was it? He was high priest. It said his sons were worthless. They were sons of the devil. Just because you a godly man don't mean your son's going to be righteous. Don't mean your daughter's going to be righteous. I don't care what you do. I don't care how hard you try. You can't make them have the heart you got. That ain't in your hands. The only thing you can do is live it and give them the information. It's on them after that. See, some people be like, he must ain't teach his sons. If his sons was working in the tabernacle, they were taught. Nigga, their heart was evil as hell. And I say that because what? We can't say Samuel didn't teach his sons. Didn't it say Samuel's sons was wicked? And Samuel's sons were prophets, and it said they prophesied for hire and judged for reward. Because some people be like, see, Samuel must have been wicked somewhere because his son was wicked. If you think like that, you a pussy nigga. You know what I'm talking about? It's something wrong with you. There's a lot of niggas got the devil spirit in them, always accusing and poking and prying. You a goofy and a cow. You got to be a whole nigga to even have it in your mind to be trying to search out niggas' sins anyway. You know what I'm talking about? Or even be focused about it. I know that nigga doing something. Boy, that's the hole in you.
So you prophesying the seeds. That's like him.
What verse?
No, you just mentioned about his sons prophesying for hire. That's like the prophesying the seeds.
Yeah, that tell you what you want to hear, man. That's like the people say, I heard, hold on, the Holy Ghost gave me a word concerning your life. That what type of nigga them was. You know what I'm saying? You gonna give me some money? Oh, I'll tell you whatever. Oh, yeah, that woman down the street, she your wife, bro. I'm telling you, she gonna love you. You know what I'm saying?
I just seen that nigga calling girls up there talking about hold out your ring finger.
Yeah, all that goofy stuff.
But they saying they got it from you.
Yeah, but they saying they got it from yeah, as long as you got them, as long as you got them shekels. Because if you ain't got them shekels, I ain't got no word for you. You know what I'm talking about? See, we act like the stuff you see them Christian pastors do like Hebrews ain't been doing. You dude been doing that time, man. Let me tell you something, man. These niggas evil as hell out here. And like I said again, now I say it again. Well, if you the type of nigga I ain't talking about you observe something. If you the type of nigga that want to do a diligent search to try to find fault on another person, you a whole hoe out here. It's something wrong with you mentally. Why you even got that much in your brain to be worrying about what another nigga doing? That ain't my job to be worrying about what you're doing. I promise to you, I do not give any thought in doing any investigative reports on nothing none of y'all got going on. You know what I'm talking about? And if somebody come with an investigative report about what's one y'all got going on, I ain't finna do no deep inquiry if the nigga ain't gonna say it while you standing right there. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga can't come and tell me, I seen Lisa smoking crack. I just say that. I'm talking about a nigga couldn't come and say that to me, and I'm gonna call you and be like, was you smoking crack? No, I'm not finna call you and ask you that, man. I'm gonna tell that nigga who said it, well, she's smoking crack. The next time you in the room and she in the room, say it then. You know what I'm talking about? Because at least you'll have a heart enough to make that accusation while that person's sitting right there. And then we can do a diligent inquisition. I ain't see that nigga smoking crack. And you the only person saying you seen him. So how I know you telling the truth? You might be saying that because you want to try to get this person removed because you got a problem with him. That's what your law say some people went and did. They'll make an accusation against somebody, get them killed. I hope it ain't most Christian pastors do. They all up in people's business. And they told you what I was. No, I didn't. Yahuwah know what you're doing. So maybe he wanted to minister that word to you in secret so you could amend yourself in secret. Because I don't know what you're doing. And I don't care enough to search it out. That benefit you to be trying to fix, because that don't make no sense to me, bro. I promise it don't. And I've been in this work 14 years, man, and I ain't never sat around and thought about worrying about what somebody else doing. I can have an inkling, boy, that nigga around there living sour. Have I ever came and told you, boy, that nigga living sour? I just let it show for itself. You see it for yourself. I might have a thought process, so you can't be speaking on stuff like that, because if it's wrong, man, you spoke evil on a man for no reason, man. About some junk you think a nigga doing. How you feeling? Nah, for real, man. That's what Satan do. He go around and accuse people. You don't need to be doing that, man. And you don't need to be running with stuff if you ain't got first-hand knowledge that a nigga did it. Some stuff just keep to yourself. If you peep something sour, just keep it to yourself. It'll show out in a little bit. Remember, I told you a long time ago, boy, I knew what some niggas was going to do a full year and a half before they did it. I ain't said a word. I let it play out because I seen the type of games they were playing. You showed your hand. Some stuff ain't hard to peep if you see a nigga showing their hand. Some stuff you might be what you call it, what they call it, intuition. Some stuff you might be like, hey, man, that junk don't rest well with my spirit. You know what I'm talking about? But just be careful with accusing people, man. See, one thing is saying, hey, like I told you, one thing different. Well, you might want to watch that nigga. That's different. Then to walk around thinking, I think that brother there homosexual. Well, did you see him with a wee-wee? I think he's sleeping with Brother Johnson White. Did you see him around there? No, because that stuff ain't cool and people do that. You know what I'm saying? Or some people like to do, oh, I'm going to call the pastor and tell him, I saw such and such doing this here. Don't call me with that. Niggas already know, don't call me with that. If you seen somebody doing wrong, you need to call them and tell them why you doing wrong. Don't call me. And I mean that from the depth of my soul. If you seen somebody doing wrong, don't call me to tell me about it, because I'm going to ask you, did you say something to them? No. Then what the hell you called me for? I don't want to hear that. Nigga too grown for that. Y'all ain't 20 years old. Listen, this nigga here clearly 37. Not for real, his pants 37. He definitely some father pants. That t-shirt definitely a nigga who about 36. That nigga said, I got 10 years under my belt at UPS. I need about another 12 more. I can get my pension. You know what I'm talking about? I just said he don't even want the whole 25. He said they told me all I had to do was 22 to get the pension. You ain't lying, man. The boy definitely should have get him a deal. Come on, man. 2 and 12 one more time.
Now the sons of Eli, sons of Belial, they knew not Yahuwah, and the priest's custom with the people, when any man offered sacrifice,
the priest servant
came while the flesh was in seething,
with the flesh hook
of 3 teeth in his hand,
and struck it
into the pan,
or the kettle,
or cauldron,
or the pot.
All the flesh hook brought up the priest took for himself.
So they did in Shiloh,
until all the Israelites that came there.
Also, before they burnt
the fat,
the priest servants came,
said to the man that sacrificed,
his flesh to roast
for the priest,
for he will not have
sodden flesh of you, but raw.
Okay.
And any man said unto him, let them not fail to burn the fat presently, and take as much as your soul desires.
Then he would answer him,
Nay, but you shall give now, and if not, I will take by
That
force.
man said, you going to give me that right now, I'm going to take it. Indeed, each man. Go ahead.
Wherefore the sin of the young men was very great before Yahuwah.
Because they hated the sacrifice of Yahuwah.
For men abhorred the offering of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
But Samuel ministered before Yahuwah, a child, girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat.
Drop down to verse 22. Look what else they were doing now. That's not like that. Everybody love to say the Christian pastor doing it like the Hebrew nigga don't be knocking these hoes down.
Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did on the Yasharal, and how they lay with the women that assembled the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Tell them what assemble mean right there, man. That man said they ain't even take him home now. They hit him at the temple. They hit him at Shiloh.
That's Sabal, to go forth, to wage war, to fight, to serve, to cause to go forth, to muster, to wait upon, to assemble.
They gathered at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. They gathered at the temporary house of Yahuwah, and he was knocking them down. It's a curtain in that tabernacle. You ain't gonna be able to see these cheeks clapping.
Oh no.
That's what they were doing. Let's not. We all grown. Boy, that boy went behind the veil. Where else they did it at? The tabernacle of the congregation wasn't that large of a structure compared to the temple of Yahuwah.
I thought one of the Levites was going inside.
Yeah, look at man. Eli was the high priest.
So he could go back.
These sons of Aaron. This just can go back there. These sons of Aaron.
VIP.
They got VIP status.
They're like, baby,
It wasn't no king in the land. This the head man of the people.
I can see how they running.
And they end up knocking them down.
They like, the other Levites can't go in here, baby. I got VIP.
I got VIP, baby. You don't know who I am? Eli, my daddy. You know I be doing. I'll leave a little extra for the sacrifice for you, baby.
Let me show you Aaron's rod.
Let me show you Aaron's rod. You talking about the one that got it? Yeah. That one.
Big boy.
The one that bud, baby. But I'm gonna loot off more than some almonds. That boy ain't lying. That's what they were doing, theoretically, realistically. But y'all want to talk about a Christian pastor and your folk, these boys around there knocking them down behind the veil. Know that veil supposed to be made out of certain type of linen curtain. You understand they were knocking these women down in front of the Ark of the Covenant, man? Boy, they were knocking them down before the throne of God with no regard. Mishandling that man's goods. Come on, man.
I ain't never heard of niggas shit like
They ain't gonna preach about it when you want to have sex with a bunch of women, you ain't gonna talk about the people in the book who were doing that. When that man said to Amos, man, y'all sitting around here and two of y'all go in the same maid to defile my name. When Jeremiah said they all sit back neighing at their neighbor's wife, hanging out the door trying to knock down his brother's wife. These niggas ain't gonna talk about it because these niggas whoremongers. These niggas think with their wee-wee, every woman they come in contact with, they trying to smash. That's why most women in the word think if a man talk to him, he got to be trying to smash. Man, don't nobody want your monkey hoe. Have sex with you for what? You think as a nigga having a conversation with you, he want to have sex with you? But you know why it's like that? Because the other 15 brews she was talking about, they were trying to hit too. Or she's so arrogant in her brain that she think every man that give her some man of attention want that monkey. But everybody don't want that monkey, man. Not especially when it's you. Ain't nothing special about it. Don't want it like that. Not unless you a whoremonger. Unless you led by your rod and you seek pleasure, ain't nothing special about no monkey. Not to be acting like that. Because if you had one, you had them all. The only way a vagina go to feeling different with you is through one avenue. You know what that is? Emotional attachment. That's it. Man, I remember a long time ago, man, a chick I used to fool when I was younger, she was talking about, she was like, yeah, niggas always say good coochie this, good coochie that. She said, man, that junk ain't nothing but a state of mind. This woman was a hoe now. You know what I'm talking about? Please understand and know this here. She was out here. She may not have been prostituting, but you know what I'm saying? She was moving around. You know what I'm saying? But she was giving whole insight. See, that's why you got to hang around. See, that's what a lot of niggas got twisted up because you wasn't hanging around no hoes. See, when you down with hoes, they give you the insight of how hoes think, how they move, how they operate. A hoe don't move like a woman because a woman and a hoe are two different types. See, you can be a masculine woman and not be a hoe, but you can be a masculine hoe. You know what I'm saying? Every masculine woman ain't no hoe. See, hoes think on how they can get over on a man, how they can use him, how they can exploit him, and they'll use their monkey to do it. Because they don't have no thoughts or feelings attached to having sex with him if there's a means to an end to extract something from him that she won't.
When we talk about that, the one I was being a man,
Yeah, to see a man eater, that's different, seeking to destroy you. She want to take every bit of your essence and drain you of every bit of masculinity and the energy you got. It's what some brothers would call a succubus. You understand what I'm telling you? You know what I'm saying? See, let me tell you something, man. The book tell you hoes will ruin your life. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah already done told you, hoes will ruin your life. You have to stay away from them kind of women. You know what I'm saying? See, when women hear that, they go to thinking you classifying all women. See, I'm going to tell you, hit dog holler hoe. If you feel like I'm talking about all women, then you must be a hoe. Because we talking about hoes. See, even when we was younger, when Snoop had the song that bitches ain't nothing but hoes and tricks, we know what type of woman he was talking about because we was in the environments with them kind of women. Nigga, we grew up listening to JT Money, so when he said, I hate hoes, hoes hate me. You know what I'm talking about? We know what type of women he talking about because we round them. We know the difference between a woman and a hoe. The problem is, like how J. Cole put it, it's too many goofy niggas who don't know the difference. So you trying to say this hoe. You don't treat a woman like you treat a hoe. Unless you in the game, but that's a whole nother conversation. Because if you ain't on the blade, that's a whole nother conversation. But man, look here, man. You supposed to know the difference between a lady and a hoe. You know what a lot of brothers go wrong at? You treat a hoe like a lady and a lady like a hoe. That's where you go wrong at. You know what I'm talking about? But you gotta be careful, man. Look here, man. This woman told me when we were young, man, that woman looked me dead in my face. Man, I was down with this woman for about 4-5 years. She say, nigga, I wouldn't care if you got me pregnant. Get a blood test. So I'm already knowing what she's saying because I know the game she out here playing. She let it be known, boy, you know I love you. You know I ride with you. I rock with you. I fool with you. She said, you better not trust these hoes as far as you can see. Boy, don't you know they claim that between 30 and 40% of men in the United States of America are raising a child that's not theirs unknowingly? That's tough. Because I just seen a video. I don't think you ain't seen this video. He something else. That nigga clowns. That nigga funny. You know what I'm talking about? Dude say he had 4 kids with a woman. Son went down at the school where they had to take a DNA test for his daughter. Came back, the child wasn't his. They did a DNA test on the other 3 children, and 2 of them wasn't his. And the mama killed herself because she found out that this nigga knew that 3 of them kids wasn't his. And these kids were teenagers at this point. So she let this man walk around for a decade plus, knowing, and get what? 3 of the kids was from 3 different men. The 3 kids that wasn't his was from 3 different men. But you know what that is? That's a man who didn't recognize the attributes of a hoe. And he married. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what I come in at. That ain't no disrespect to no woman if you ain't no hoe. Because we already know what the book say. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman who fears Yahuwah, she shall be praised. Oh, we ain't got no problem with no lady. No godly woman, no good woman, no virtuous woman, no righteous woman, no chaste woman. Who gonna have something negative to say about her? Why would you? Remember what it said, man, what it said in Deuteronomy 22? If you had married a woman, man, and you around here talking about she wasn't no maid, boy, the people gonna come see you trying to put a bad name on this woman upright. We don't do no type of stuff like that. We don't condone that type of goofy junk. I'm not finna lump every woman I see and say she a hoe. I don't know that woman, but I do know a hoe when I see one. You know what I'm talking about? And you just got to give it time and she show you. See, a lot of times you boys so fast to try to lay down with somebody that you ain't paying attention to the character of the woman you're dealing with. Because you're thinking with your wee-wee. And your wee-wee get you in trouble every time. And all these Hebrew niggas want to try to tell you, we need to get these brothers married. Yeah, you want to get them married, but you ain't trying to get this man with some woman and have him married in 90 days. He don't know this woman. Man, I done told y'all plenty of time before, man. Marrying somebody is the greatest decision as a man that you'll ever make in your entire life. And you can't invest more time in your investigation in buying appliances for your house and a car to drive in and a house to live in than the woman who gonna be in there with you. You got to be a damn fool if you ain't gonna take the time to figure out, man, what kind of woman is this? Because this ain't the old days, man. She ain't living, you ain't getting her from her daddy's house pure. She been out here corrupted by the world, man. And when I say corrupted by the world, I'm not talking about corrupted because she was dallying in explicit sexual conduct. She's been corrupted by the deceitful lust and the mindset of the world. It ain't your job to clean no woman up. Bro, say you don't think a righteous man can clean a woman up? It ain't your job to clean her up. And that's where a lot of brothers make their mistake at. And that's how you get caught up with a hoe. Because you think I can get her and clean her up. That's not your job. She's supposed to be clean for you get her. You know what I'm talking about? If she ain't clean for you get her, let your whore clean her up. But don't you do it. Because you know why? Because you're going to be ministering to her for your own selfish motivations and not for her soul, to make yourself feel better about being with her. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's too dangerous. Because that woman will play that role if it'll lock that marriage in that provision, and then the hoe gonna come out eventually. Because people who do that, you know what I'm talking about? They find themselves out later that this person was pretending to get what they wanted. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you don't want to do no Queen say camps do push quick marriage. Now, you don't want to do no quick marriage, boy. You don't know that woman. Just like that woman don't know that man. Because you got to realize something, you don't know this nigga either. He been out here corrupted by the world too. Because you gave a nigga a title and a nigga outfit. This a just man. You don't know this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now that's the flip side, just because I was talking about that side. But you know, everybody in here married. So I don't really say it that often no more. But for you ladies that not married, man, the last thing you want to do is get married to a stupid man. Because you got to listen to that man for the rest of your life. You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to be married to no ungodly goofy who don't know where he going, don't serve God, hate God, phony and hypocrite in front of people. You know what I'm talking about? Want to look like he righteous in front of y'all and around here playing in different whole booty every night. Telling lies and camping and doing all this other stuff. That ain't what you want. But notice here, man or woman, boy, it ain't your job to clean nobody up because you can't clean nobody up. Remember, I told y'all this years ago. You never get with a woman and say, I'm going to put her on the word, because that tells me you don't care about that woman's soul. You care about justifying in your mind a woman you find desirable to make it acceptable for you to be with her. In your mind. It's not that you care about her soul, because if you care about her soul, getting with her wouldn't even be your objective. If it happened, it happened. But that ain't your number one motivation. Yeah, but you can't clean nobody up now. You can't do that. What type of power you got to do that? How you going to do that? And then you got to take the process to clean a woman up. You know how long that's going to take? That's a process, man. That's going to take a couple years, because you're going to need to see, is this woman really going to hold to this? Now, she start eating pork, bro. She come through on the Sabbath, bro. She right. Nah, man, you can't be going for that, man. Don't do that. It's saying in Jacksonville, you got to find somebody you like and rinse them off. That's different, because they in the word. Look here, man, because they ain't in the word. They just saying, period. They dirty out here. Just find them. You can't clean nobody up. You know why you can't clean nobody up? Because they got to want to clean themselves up. Yeah, they got to want to clean themselves up. And if they don't want to clean themselves up, ain't nothing you can do for them. This ain't to denigrate nobody, but listen to these goofy niggas anyway. We need more marriage. All you going to do is get a bunch of people together who don't like each other. All you're going to get to do is a bunch of people together who going to be kicking and screaming against one another because they unequally yoked, if you will. You're going to get one carnal person and one spiritual person. Or two carnal people who going to make a hell of a mess in the name of Yahuwah. But see, these people don't care about your soul, so they don't give a damn. And you know who going to end up suffering? The children you made. Because now I got to deal with your wicked bastard children. We don't think about none of that stuff and that's how you know that it clearly ain't men leading us, because that's an idealistic, romanticized way of viewing adulthood. You have to be pragmatic, which is realistic. You got to deal with things in a pragmatic fashion, man, because people's lives are on the line with what you're telling them. If that man get caught up with a wicked woman, it could be the worst thing that ever happened to him. If that woman get caught up with a wicked man, because this is not back in the days where your daddy gave you to this man because he knew his people, and then he find out later on down the line you got in the ball. That's not this time period. You got two people who've been living any kind of way, talking about we found out we Israelites, we should get married. Come on, man, you stupid as hell, you moving like that. You too damn grown for that. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna say that. The people who teaching you too damn grown to be telling you that. Come on, man. Read 21, 22 again.
Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did on the Yasharal and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
And he said unto them,
why do you such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people.
Nay, my sons.
For it's no good report that I hear. You make Yahuwah's people to transgress.
If one man sin
against another, the judge shall judge.
If a man sin against Yahuwah,
who shall entreat for?
Well, listen to that, boy. You sin against God, who gonna stand up for you? That's why Yahushua had to come, because God got to do it. Stop listening to these niggas talking about you can repent. Boy, if you sin against Yahuwah, boy, can't nobody stand in the gap for you. Can't nobody pray your sin away. You can't repent your sin away. You can repent, that sin still there. Something got to be sent. Somebody got to purge that, man. Tell them what entreat mean, man. These niggas crazy as hell out here, man.
That's halal. To intervene, to interpose, to pray, to mediate, to judge, to intercede.
To mediate, to be an intercessor. That man said, if a man sin against Yahuwah, who gonna be his intercessor? Who gonna pray for him? That's tough right there, man. He said, but notwithstanding, they hearken not to the voice of their father, because Yahuwah was slain. Let me tell y'all something, man. Just so y'all can know this. Right? I don't care what they is. I don't care if they not in the word. I don't care if they're Hebrew. I don't care if they're in the Christian church. I don't care if that nigga at the Buddhist temple. Boy, if Yahuwah done determined to kill a nigga, it don't matter what you gonna say to him. He ain't gonna give him the heart to hear. You should know that with Pharaoh. When Yahuwah done determined to kill him, ain't nothing you can say to him. It's too many examples of that in the book. Remember when dude came up to Asa and prophesied against him, and Asa threw him in the He said, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave you alone. He said, I didn't see the Yahuwah determined to kill you. See, this is the difference with a lot of y'all in these days and times than the men back then. Once the men see, oh, he don't want to listen. Oh, he said, yo, yeah, God finna kill him. I ain't finna keep talking to him. I'm not finna keep talking to him. God finna kill him. Now, we good right there, man. We could go in the mode there. I didn't want y'all to see all that there, man. Because he told him, of course, you wasn't going to restrain him. You know what I'm talking about? See, hold on. Go on to verse 27. Bump. Then we go back to, I'm going to see this here because this go with in the Luke 16 with the steward. You wasting this man goods. Eli and his household was wasting what Yahuwah gave him, which was the priesthood. It was their job to carry the burden of the tabernacle. And they were wasting it. You understand? We got Jeremiah 23 on top. I'll read Luke 16, Civic, when we get back to it. Come on with it.
And there came a man of Alahym unto Eli and said unto him, thus saith Yahuwah, did I plainly appear unto the house of your father when they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house?
You see what he said? Did I plainly appear to you? Hey. Joanne. Then, now, whose house did he appear to while you was in Pharaoh's house? Who he talking about? He talking about Aaron. That's how you know they was from the house of Aaron. Come on with it, man.
And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Yasharal, my priests, to offer upon my altar to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give unto the house of your father all the offerings made by fire?
You see this? This how you know this Aaron now. These high priests.
Wherefore kick you at my sacrifice and at my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honor your sons above me.
He said, you put your sons above me. So when you see that Luke 14, he said, he that hate not father, mother, sons, daughter, even his own life also, you can't be my disciple. Well, you can't put nobody before that man. That's why when you hear people talking about, I put my kids before my husband, that whole wicked as hell. You hear anyone say she put her kids for a husband, that woman ain't a wife. You ain't put to put nobody for your husband. Not on this earth. You know why? Because before you had them kids, you had your husband, ho. Now look what he just told you. You Yahushua's wife ain't. And he said, you just honored your sons before me. You don't put your kids before me and I'm your husband. You don't do that. That's nigga talk. That's new age talk. Nigga, your children, what the law say? A man gonna do what? Leave his father and his mother and cleave to who? His who? And they gonna become what? So how you gonna put somebody who gonna slide and create their own family behind the man you created the family with? Your job is to get them prepared to separate from you so that they can create a family to serve God like you've been serving them. Not putting your kids before your husband, that's retarded. Then you had these hoes, yeah, my husband always tell me to put the kids before him. That nigga stupid. You stupid, nigga, that ain't honorable. You ain't did nothing virtuous and upright. That man ain't never told you to do no junk like that. See, you know what people hear when you say you put your kids first and make them feel like you're doing something noble. Your job is to facilitate instruction and provision and guidance for your children. When you put your kids before the leader of the house, you're teaching them to usurp and not respect masculine authority, which in turn will cause them to not respect Alahym's authority, which means you hamstrung in this young woman when she become an adult, and you hindering this young man to know how to effectively lead because he will always abdicate his rulership to those under him thinking he's doing something noble. That's not how the game go. I know it sounds good. I know some people, I don't like what he's saying. I don't give a damn if you like it. You know it don't work. And it's bigger than this stupid stuff about who get a plate first. Because you got to be dumb as all out though. Nigga, you look here, right? If you go in the king's house, king getting served for everybody. Kids and all. You know why? Because he the ruler of that dominion. And everybody in there know that they subject to the ruler of that dominion and will humble themselves to his authority because they know the life that they have is provided by the dominion of said king. The king don't come in there and say, yes, my children, feed my kids and my wife first. He's not doing that because he has to establish that I am the dominant individual in this dominion. You serve me first. So everyone here can respect me. Once you do that, you're subconsciously telling people, I don't have to respect him because you're coming to me first. That tells me that there must be, this is subconscious. This is not going to be something on a conscious level. When you do it repeatedly, subconsciously, this tells the person, I'm of higher degree than him. We don't realize that though. And that's just because we don't come from a rulership mentality. That's all. So in trouble. Look at it.
Do that ticket sacrifice tie in like
What you said, the call, you could. Why you kick against the prick? Mm-hmm. Come on, man. I know it's tough. It is what it is.
Wherefore,
You in 30.
Wherefore, Yahuwah Alahym Yahshua said, I said indeed.
Girl, ain't nothing wrong with you.
Your house and the house of your father shall walk before me forever.
But now Yahuwah say,
be it far from me.
For them that what?
Honor me, I will honor.
And them that despise me
shall be lightly esteemed.
Well, that man say you hate him, man. He don't fool with you. Go ahead.
Behold, the days come that I will cut off your arm and the arm of your father's house, that there shall not be an old man in your house.
That man say I'm killing everybody.
You shall see an enemy habitation, and all the wealth which Alahym shall give Yasharah, and there shall not be an old man in your house forever.
And the man of yours
I shall not cut off from my altar
to consume your eyes
and to grieve your heart.
And all the increase of your house shall die
in the flower of their
age.
They're
going to die in their youth. And this
a sign unto you that shall come upon your two sons,
Hophni
and Phinehas.
And one day
they shall die, both of them.
And I will raise me up.
A faithful priest
shall do according
which in my heart
and in my mind.
And I will build him a sure house.
And he shall walk before my anointed
forever.
Notice that he said, I will raise me up, which is according to whose heart? That's why you can't sit back. You ain't gonna pick. Look what he did. You don't want to do what I said. I'll get rid of you. And I'll raise me up somebody I fool with. Because they wasted his goods. Let's come back to Jeremiah 23. Don't waste a man goods if he give them to you. Oh my God, that hurt. This ain't never hurt like this. Maybe because it's too hard. What verse you start then? Jeremiah 23. You stopped at verse 9. Read Jeremiah 23 and 9 again.
My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man and like a man whom wine had overcome.
Because of what?
Yahuwah, and because of the words of his Kadash.
He said, man, that word of his Kadash caused him to pass over. Same thing with the Lord. Come on, verse 10.
For the land is full of adulterers.
It's full of what?
Adulterers.
For because
of swearing
the land what?
Born.
Pleasant places of the wilderness
are dried up.
Their course is what?
Evil.
And their force
not right.
Both prophet
and priest
are what?
Profane.
They what?
Profane.
And in my house
have I found their wickedness.
Ain't that what he just did with Eli them?
Say if Yahuwah.
Hold on. He said in whose house?
Yahuwah's house.
Yah's house. So guess what? Guess what you're gonna find in Yah's house in 2023? The priest and the prophet profane, and I'm gonna find wickedness in there. And all you want to talk about is the Christian church. I will not. Continue.
Say, wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery in the darkness.
They shall be
driven on,
fall therein.
For I will bring evil upon them.
The year of their visitation.
Saith Yahuwah.
I've seen folly.
And the prophets of Samaria.
They prophesied
and Baal
and caused my people Yasharal
to err.
I've also seen in the prophets.
Of Jerusalem.
Notice he's seeing in both, like we talked about in Ezekiel 16 or Ezekiel 23. Excuse me. This ain't just talking about no Christian church. These dudes tell you what we finna read, talking about Martin Luther King Jr. You hear niggas say they talking about Martin Luther King Jr., you walk away from that ignorant bastard. He say the prophets of Samaria prophesying who?
And Baal.
That man talking about what was going on in the northern kingdom. That's all Rehoboam had going on. That's all Ahab had going on. That's all they did in the northern kingdom was worship Baal. Now look what he said was going on in Jerusalem in chapter 14. Now verse 14, excuse me.
I've seen also the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing.
What they do?
They commit adultery.
He say the prophets committing adultery. Not the people doing it. The prophets doing it. Go ahead.
And walk in lies.
And they walk in lies.
They strengthen also the hands of evil.
He say the prophets strengthening sinners' hands to stay a sinner. Notice he not talking about the people. Who he said did it? Who he said did it? Who he said did it, sir? Who he said did it?
The prophets.
He said the prophets did it. Go ahead.
That none do return from his wickedness.
He said they're all under me.
As Sodom.
And the inhabitants
thereof as Gomorrah.
That said all of Judah were like Sodom and Gomorrah to him as far as he was concerned. Go ahead.
Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts concerning the prophets, behold,
I will feed them what?
With warm wood.
And make them drink what?
The water of God.
For the prophets of Jerusalem
is profaneness.
And gone forth
into all the land.
Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts.
Hearken not unto the words of the prophets
that prophesy unto you.
They make you vain.
They make you what?
Vain.
They make you what?
Vain.
And they speak a vision of their what?
Own heart.
And not
of the mouth of Yahuwah.
Well, you think that's stopping? You think that ain't going on right now? Stop blaming that on the Christian church, man. That man was talking about brew to brew. That man said they the word they speaking is vain and they talking out their butthole. Go ahead, man.
They say still unto them that despise me, Yahuwah have said you shall have peace.
How many of these brews out here telling you you're going to have peace even though you're sinning? Go ahead.
And they say unto everyone that walk after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you.
Yahuwah going to take us in the wilderness and straighten it out then. That's what that is. Go ahead.
For who have stood in the counsel of Yahuwah and have perceived and heard his word?
Who marked his word?
And heard.
Behold,
a whirlwind of Yahuwah is gone forth in fury.
Even a grievous
whirlwind, it shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked.
The anger of Yahuwah
shall not return until he have executed.
Until he have performed
the thoughts of his heart.
In the latter days,
you shall consider it perfect.
I have not sent these prophets.
Yet they ran.
I have not spoken to them.
Yet they prophesied.
That man say, boy, I ain't sent none of these people and they steady talking. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't sent them and they steady running. Go ahead, man.
But if they had stood in my counsel and have caused people to hear my words,
then they should have turned them
from their evil way
and from their evil
of their doings. Alahym at hand,
saith Yahuwah,
and not a Alahym afar off.
Can any hide himself in secret?
Places that I shall not see him, saith Yahuwah.
Do I not feel Shamayim?
And earth, saith Yahuwah.
I have heard what the prophet said.
That prophesy lies in my name.
That prophesy lies in my what?
In my name.
Saying what?
I have dreamed.
Let me ask y'all a question. When Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I have a dream speech, did he say it in the name of Yahuwah? Did he even say it in the name of God? Did he say it in the name of Jesus? He said, I had a dream. He didn't mention God at all. Not one time. Go listen to the speech. That man never mentioned Yahuwah at all. If you want to say Jehovah or Jesus, he didn't say it at all. He didn't invoke God at all, any God at all. He was speaking what it was that he desired to see. Hebrew will tell you, gee, that's Martin Luther King Jr. right there. Remember the I Have a Dream speech, and y'all be listening to him. That is Martin Luther King. He did say that. He was prophesying to Martin Luther King Jr. Did what you do now. Did what you do. I don't want you to go to the bathroom at your house. I want you to go to a public. Maybe you can go to Buc-ee's. I want you to go to the truck stop at high usage time and just walk in there and ask all the truckers to slap the fire at you for being stupid. Nobody don't need to hit you with a Bible. You need to go in a full public bathroom and say, I've been stupid for a long time. I said this was Martin Luther King Jr. Can you slap me, please? Because that don't make no sense, bro. How many of y'all actually heard the I Have a Dream speech to where you can recall in the memory what he said? I recall what he said. You know why? Because my mama and my daddy bought a damn t-shirt. Well, I can tell you that. My daddy bought me a t-shirt with that. You know what I'm talking about? A green one with black letters. Hey, man, I rock a lot of t-shirts. My mama bought me a Malcolm X t-shirt and the hat. Because they really, you know what I'm saying? Pop was in the NAACP, so some of that stuff, you know, he was on that, but he wasn't on that. Like, he supported what the boy got going on because he was looking at it like civil rights, but he wasn't no coward neither. You know what I'm talking about? Mom Dukes and my auntie, they wasn't with none of that. And granddaddy wasn't with none of that either. All that whole hands, kumbaya with them people, man, bump them people. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be worried about them people, man, bump them people. I'm just being honest with you. For real though, my father was interim president of the NAACP. He was on that type of time. You know what I'm talking about?
Jacksonville Chapel, Florida.
Jacksonville Chapel. That's why we were trying to get his phone to tap in with the people he knew, but niggas was acting funny. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was acting funny, period, because Pop was tapped in this city with all type of people. You know what I'm saying? Niggas fooled with him. Because he was a real nigga. Niggas already know, man, Pops ain't really mince no words, and he ain't kiss no booty hole. You know what I'm saying? So he was on what he was on, and if you was on some sucker junk, he'll give you your due respect, but he ain't fooling with you. You know what I'm saying? You stay over there with that. I ain't got no beef with you. I ain't gonna talk bad about you, but you just stay over there with that. You know what I'm saying? So in his peer group of the people he was around, he was highly respected. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, man.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
Which think to cause my people
to forget my name by their dreams.
Which tell every man to his neighbor.
As their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
The prophet that have a dream.
Let him tell a dream.
And he that have my word.
Let him speak my word faithfully.
What is chaff to the wheat?
Saith Yahuwah. Not my word like as a fire. Saith Yahuwah.
Like a hammer.
Break the rock in pieces.
Therefore, behold,
I against the prophets
that steal my words.
Everyone from his neighbor.
You see how that's wasting the dream. Tell her what dream mean, man. I'm swinging over here to Luke 16. This is what he mean when he say he got a steward and they wasting his good.
That's a dream.
That means you speaking your own words. This is what all that we went through just so you can see what it mean when he said a certain rich man had a steward and the same was accused under him that wasted his goods, because that's what they were doing. You know what I'm talking about? They was wasting his goods, and his goods is his word. They were waste. Notice how he say you stealing my word, every man from his neighbor. Luke 16:2. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of you? Give account of your stewardship, for you may be no longer steward. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? My Lord, take away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig. I'm too big. I am ashamed. I resolve what to do. That what I put out of my stewardship, that they may receive into their houses. So he called every one his Lord's debtors and said unto them first, how much you owe to my Lord? And he said 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50. You see what that is? That grace. Because notice what he said, man, if you come to them so they can repent and turn from the evil of their doings. Then he said to another, how much you owe? He said 100 measures a week. He said to him, take your bill and write 80, meaning that you pay less than what you owe. All you had to do was pay repentance for what you owed instead of your life. The Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the sons of this world are in their generation wiser than the sons of light. I say unto you to make yourself friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when you fall, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. Now come over here and tell them what mammon is. I know y'all know what it is, but you know, it's for people who don't know.
Mammonas, that's mammon, treasure, riches.
So he telling you to make yourself friends of the riches of unrighteousness. The riches of unrighteousness could be a multitude of things. He says so that when you fail, tell them what fail is.
It's eklipo, that's fail, to leave out, to omit, to pass by, to leave, to quit, to fail, to leave off, to cease, to stop.
To stop, that they may receive you into everlasting habitations. Go ahead and tell them what these everlasting habitations is. God.
Everlasting is ahioneos, that's without beginning and end. And then habitations is skene, that's a tent or tabernacle.
So this is what he just told you, right? When you make to yourselves to be a close intimate of the riches of unrighteousness, then he gonna cause you to fall into an eternal place of dwelling. And it ain't gonna be a place you want to dwell at. That's what you happen to see with Eli and his sons. You know what I'm talking about? And a multitude of other men. This is what he said in verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. Now remember, this unjust steward wasted his master's goods. We just read about Israelites who had the word and was maced in their master's goods so that they could be friends with the unrighteous, the mammon of unrighteousness. You understand? Listen to what he said. If you therefore have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? If you ain't telling what unrighteous there is, man.
But decos, that's the descriptive of one who violates or has violated justice, unjust, unrighteous.
So if you got treasures by unrighteous means, and you ain't even been faithful to that, who gonna give you the riches that come from heaven? He said, if you've been faithful in that which is another man's, if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? You ain't been faithful with this man's word. Why would he give you an everlasting life? Why would he do that? He said, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Alahym and Mammon. You can't serve God and money, boy. You can't do both. Because you know why the unjust steward was unjust? Because he wanted money more than doing his master's duty. When you look at what you've seen with Eli's sons, they were more concerned with money. When we mention, give me Micah 3:3-8. When we mention Samuel's sons, what were they doing? Filthy lucre's sake. Let me get that for you so y'all can see that them boy was prophesying for filthy lucre's sake. Why he getting this Micah 3.
It say, but truly I am full of power by the Ruach of Yahuwah, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin.
Go ahead.
Hear this, I pray you, you heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Yasharal.
What they do?
That abhor judgment. And
they abhor what?
Judgment.
They do what?
Abhor judgment.
And what else they do?
Pervert all equity.
And what else?
They build up Zion with blood.
With what?
With blood.
And what else they do?
Jerusalem with iniquity.
And what else?
The heads thereof judge for reward.
They judge for what?
Reward.
Don't the book say you judge for Yahuwah and don't take no reward or gift for your judgment? What else they do?
Priests thereof teach for hire.
They teach for what?
For hire.
They teach for money.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
And then they prophesy for some money.
Yet will they lean upon Yahuwah and say, not Yahuwah among us, none evil can come upon us.
Then they say, ain't nothing going to happen to it. Listen to this 1 Samuel 8:1. 1 Samuel 8:1. 1 Samuel 8:1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Yasharal. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abijah, judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. That's what they did. The boy went after the bread. Man, look at man. Wicked men will always be tempted with money. Let me tell y'all something, and just so y'all can know what lucre is in the Hebrew. Lucre is bet side, bak, side, and ayin. It's profit. It's unjust gain or things that are acquired by violence or covetousness through dishonesty. So when you come back over here to Luke 16, I'm going to read verse 13 again. That's what made this steward, you know what I'm talking about, wasting his goods. Remember what he said? The unjust steward. Ain't that what he called him? That means this unjust steward was trying to get gains through covetousness. So because he was trying to get rich through his covetousness and not to increase his master's goods, that's why I say you've made yourself friends of treasures of unrighteousness. So go ahead and make yourself a friend of that, so when you fall, you can go to hell with it. Because that's what happened to Eli's sons. That's what happened to the prophets of old. Yeah, you can't go out like that. 16 and 13, Luke. No servant can serve two masters, for he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Alahym and Mammon. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they ridiculed him. So when they heard him say that you cannot get riches through unrighteousness, they clowned him. Why? Because they were idolaters, because they were covetous also. And that's why you got to be careful. What does Peter tell you? Give me 2 Peter chapter 2. I got one more verse in Luke 16, man. And then I don't think I really got nothing else. Not that we can start right now, because it ain't no time of love talk right now. It's not. It's almost 9 o'clock. And I don't even want to get the rolling like that. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. Listen what the man say.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you,
who will bring in what?
Damnable heresies,
even denying
the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
And many shall follow their pernicious
ways,
by reason of whom
the way of truth shall be evil spoken
and
of.
Through their what?
Covetousness.
Through their what?
Covetousness
shall
they with feigned words
make what of you?
Merchandise.
Make what of you?
Merchandise of you.
And what else?
Whose judgment now of a long time lingered not.
And the damnation don't sleep. So you got to understand something. People always been in this book making merchandise out to people. This ain't a new thing, and this ain't no Christian thing. See, let me tell you something, right? And this just being 100, man. A lot of people don't realize, he said through their what kind of words they'll make merchandise of you?
Damn feigned words.
Tell them what feigned mean, man, just in case they don't know.
Feigned is plastos, that's molded, formed as form clay. Feigned, false, fictitious.
Fake words, fictitious words, or dreams, like you read it. Like that's what a dream is. That ain't real. So what does that mean? Let me tell you something, right? So we can be clear. If somebody preaching the word and they got businesses and they got products that they using, they're not making or selling or service they offer. They're not making merchandise of you if it's regular conductive business. That means it's outside the framework of the ministry. You understand what I'm telling you? It's got to be outside that framework, because he said through fictitious words, they'll make merchandise of you. So you're dealing with people who are using the word or the office of ministry as a means to exploit the people for financial gain. And if you think that's just happening in the Christian church, you a special type of stupid. And you really need to go in your bathroom and look in the mirror and slap yourself, because you're not dealing with reality. You know what I'm talking about? These people not supposed to be making merchandise of you through lies, because that's what you've seen in Micah. That's what you've seen in Samuel. That's what you've seen in Jeremiah. They were profiting off of you through lies. If the preacher wrote a book and he's selling a book that's open to the public, he's not making merchandise of you. Now, unless it's here, I don't know the brother, but I seen the man do it. Or you take the brother who made Hebrews and Negroes. He felt like every Hebrew congregation was supposed to promote his movie to their congregants. That's not a preacher's job, because you selling that. See, it's different if you was giving it away, but you selling that for gain. That's not my job to promote that during service. Y'all boys need to go buy Hebrews and Negroes. That's not my job. Not while I'm preaching, not during service. That's not my job. My job is not to promote your movie, to put no money in your pocket, man. No disrespect. That's not my job. You don't like it, take it up with the Lord, and I'll tell you that to your face. Now, if I'm not preaching, I say, hey, man, that documentary was fire, man. Y'all boys might want to check that out. It's on such and such, man. This is what he's selling it for. This is what he written it for. This is what the book go for. That's different. I'm not making no merchandise of you. I'm telling you, I read it, I viewed it, I liked it. This is what it costs. If you want to check it out, that's the thing. But I ain't supposed to get in the middle of the congregation of Yahuwah while I'm supposed to be magnifying the righteousness of the living Alahym and tell somebody go cop a documentary. Absolutely not. That's ungodly, unrighteous, and making merchandise of the people. And if you agree with it, you a goofy and an idiot. Because you can't fear God and you do that. I wouldn't care. You ain't supposed to get in front of no congregation and sell nobody's clothes. You ain't supposed to sell nobody's soul. The house of Yahuwah is not for that. That man told you, do not turn my Abba's house into a place of merchandise. This is not a place for commerce. If you want to hustle, hustle on your own time. But when you in Yahuwah's house, any place that's sanctified for worship for him, or when 2 or 3 or more are gathered in his name, where he dwelling in the midst, and you hustling, you an idiot and a goofy, and clearly you love the wages of unrighteousness. Didn't we read that last night with Balaam? That's what he loved. That's what he talking about. You make yourself friends with unjust gain, you're going to make yourself friends with some burning on your black behind. That's what you're going to do. Because that ain't what you're supposed to be doing, man. This ain't about helping. We got to help each other get rich, not when the word is involved. You do that on your own time. Yeah, man, if you selling cars, you don't get in the congregation. Hey, brother, y'all brothers need a new whip now. And you ain't supposed to use your authority to try to convince people that they ought to spend with you. Let me tell you something, man. It's always better to spend with your own people. But when you're dealing with whatever it is that you're purchasing, you should make sure that you get top-notch quality and service from whomever you purchase it from. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you do. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I could get a car and the interest rate going to be lower from Mr. Charlie, then your buy here, pay here, I'm not buying that car from you, cuz. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It make more financial sense for me to go over here. Now, if you can beat his terms, then by all means. But I can't put myself in a negative financial situation to prove how black I am, and now my family or myself may suffer. I can't do that. That doesn't make common sense. That's not even good business. Now you ain't faithful over your own goods to prove how black you are. Now, of course, it's not a lot of it is, but I wouldn't invite nobody to do no buy here, pay here, because boy, the interest rate gonna split your butthole so doggone wide open, you gonna wish you would have never went round that. I can't speak to the quality of the vehicle, but I just know if you go to a buy here, pay here, well, your interest rate finna be high because they the bank. You know what I'm talking about? And they gonna set their interest rate. You know what I'm talking about? That just is what it is. Then on top of that, let's just keep it above. Let's just keep it all the way above. If you a brewer and you say you in the word and you charging a nigga interest, you going to hell anyway. Because you ain't supposed to be doing that anyway. That means you supposed to give me a car loan dollar for dollar. You ain't supposed to get no come up off of me. That's what your law say, don't it? Ain't that what your law say? He said, don't lend on hold on. I don't want a nigga think I'm making that up. Because you know niggas say you making something up, ain't it? So if I was selling cars, right, and you came and bought a car from me, and I told you this car was $12,500, that means Lil Johnny got to pay me $12,500 if he ain't got $12,500. That's it. I can't charge him nothing. I can tax Mr. Charlie though. My law say I can tax Mr. Charlie. Exodus 22 and 25. Come on, Sid. And we're going to read all of them too, so you can make it clear that we ain't making it up. Hold on, Crystal. I got you.
It said, if you lend money to my people poor by you, you shall not be to him as an usurer, neither shall you lay upon him usury. If you at all take your neighbor's raiment to pledge, you shall deliver it unto him by that the sun go down.
For that is his covering,
his raiment for his skin, where shall he sleep?
And it shall come to pass when he cry unto me,
that I will hear.
So that means if that man gave you something as collateral for a debt, and you don't give it back to him, and he cry to God about it, well, that's a sin to you, boy. Well, this book say, if a man owe you money, and he hold it, and you cry to God about it, well, that's a sin to you. He said, if you got it, you need to give that man that money. You know what I'm talking about? But notice what he said, man. Don't you lend no money to the people that poor by me and be no usher. Tell them what usher is, man, and ushery too. While you at it,
That's Nashal, to lend, to be a creditor.
To be a creditor. See, this is one of the things, right? When it comes down to, you know how a lot of people talk about infinite banking and be your own bank. You know what I'm talking about? Most of us can't even do that because it's not just for people who know they are bruised. You're not supposed to do that for anybody of your people, period. So that means that's an avenue that a just man can never enter into. See, let me show you why. Psalm 24.
Usury is interest on a debt.
Interest on a debt. We can't charge interest on a debt. Not no saint. You can't do that. Okay, that ain't the one. That ain't the one. It might be Isaiah 33. But come over here to Leviticus, man. 25 and 36. Give him that too. 25 and 35. Yeah, we can't do what Kyle do. Not with our own people.
People word or
it don't matter. He ain't specify if they serve Yahuwah or not. That's one of the biggest things too that a lot of brews do too. Well, if they serve God, I ain't got to do it. He didn't specify if they were saints or sinners, did it? He didn't specify. So you can't do it. We can't do that. We can't say we just men and we doing that. We can't. You can say a lot of things, but you're lying. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man.
Saying if your brother be waxing poor and falling in decay with you, then you shall relieve him. A stranger or sojourner that he may live with you, take no usury of him or increase, but fear your Alahym that your brother may live with you.
He said don't do what?
Take no usury of him or increase.
Don't take no increase on what you loaned him.
You should not give him your money upon usury, nor lend him your victuals for increase.
You better not. Don't lend him your food for no increase. Tell him what victuals is. He said don't lend him that for no increase. That's unjust. That's ungodly. Boy, godly men ain't supposed to be doing that.
Okay, that's food.
You ain't supposed to be lending your food by no increase. Come over here to Proverbs 28 and 8. I got you. I'm trying to speed it up. It's 9:06. I'm at 3 minutes to be at an hour and a half, which is usually what I give you on a Wednesday anyway. So we finna wrap this up in a second. But you know, praise be to you. You know, this one more lady asked about. Y'all get a little bit more. Proverbs 28 and 8. It said, he that by usury and unjust gain and grease his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. So you know what he telling you? Since you like unjust gain and you want to get gain by increase, he gonna let you get all that money so he can give it to the saints. That's why you ain't got to worry about what these people got going on. The man done laid down the play. It's waiting for you. You got treasure stored up in heaven if you would. Come over here, I'll get you. Jeremiah 15 and 10. I'm just moving swift there. That's all. Mm-hmm. So everybody can eat, man. Jeremiah 15 and 10 say,
woe is me.
But what else?
My mother, that you have borne me a man of strife and a man of contention.
And what else?
To the whole earth. I have neither lent on usury, nor men have lent to me on usury. Every one of them do curse me.
He said, I ain't never lent to nobody for no increase. Go over here to Ezekiel 18 and 6. Well, I get this Psalm 15. That was Psalm 15 that I wanted. I'm finna get y'all this Psalm 15 and 5 right now.
Have not eaten upon.
Hold on. Psalm 15. I'm gonna read verse 1. Yahuwah, who shall abide in your tabernacle? Who shall dwell in your Kadash hill? He that walk uprightly and work righteousness and speak the truth in his heart. Backbite not with his tongue, nor do evil to his neighbor, nor take up a reproach against his neighbor. And whose eyes a vile person is contemned. He honor them that fear Yahuwah. Swear to hurt and change not. Put not out his money to usury, nor take reward against the innocent. He that do these things shall never be moved. That man said, man, we don't take no usury out here, boy. We don't do that. You can't do that. Now, see, we get a look at it, but when white folks do it, they can do that to you because you could do it to them. That man said you can lend to the stranger on usury. He said you can't lend to each other on it. You know what? So what is the point of that? He told you you'll be the head and not the what? So if you lend to each other for increase on debt, then how you going to be the head if everybody in the community is in debt? Yahuwah's objective was never for Yasharal to be in debt to anybody. not to each other and not to anybody else. And that's why the Jubilee was in there, that if you did go into debt by somebody else, because that's why I say if your brother be waxing poor and he sell himself to a stranger, there would be a way to set him free from the debt. He didn't want you to be in debt. That's part of the reason why he say forgive us our debtors, so your debts can be forgiven. But that's a whole nother conversation. Well, somebody AirPods just want to connect to my phone. I don't know who's on the mill. I know that ain't Civic. That's Civic over there. Come on to Deuteronomy 23, man. Get him verse 19. I know I told you Ezekiel. I'll do it. Let me give him one more out the law.
It says, you shall not lend upon usury to your brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
Mm-hmm.
Unto a stranger you may lend upon usury.
Unto a who?
Unto a stranger.
But not the who?
But unto your brother you shall not lend upon usury.
That's why you see how he say, if you make yourself friends of unrighteous mammon, that you might fall into everlasting habitation. Because if you lended by increase, you dealing with unrighteous mammon. You seen what he did when he told them people how much you owe. He told the man pay less. You know why? Because that man was trying to get them people by increase. He was trying to have them pay more than what they owed. He put some tax on it. Can't put no tax on it. And don't be turning around talking about, oh, he charged me usury because he overcharged me. He ain't overcharging, nigga. That was his price. You either ain't have to pay it or you did. You know, I done heard niggas in the word say that. Oh, he charging usury. He's selling t-shirts for $60. He ain't charged no usury. It only cost him $10 to make the shirt. That's none of your business. That's not usury. That's a profit margin. Now, if you don't want to pay $60 for a t-shirt, you ain't got to pay it. He ain't lending it to you. Usury is, I want to borrow $1,000, brother. Okay, I got you. You got to pay me back $2,500. That's interest on a loan. Ain't that what the definition was? Man, that's what these people do to us on most of these loans. You definitely paying back $2 for every dollar you borrow. You know what I'm talking about? And you know the sad part is that they've convinced us that usury is a thing that all of us should be involved in. It's for seeking after it. Because just on the natural sense, on the face, what your book say about that? What the book of Proverbs say about that? That the borrower is a servant to the lender. So they want you to be a slave to those who lend to you. And that's why Yahuwah told you in your law that y'all will not rule over one another with vigor because you my servants. He never wanted you to be slaves to each other by reasons of finance. He never wanted that to happen. And no man can claim that he is a godly man and seek to rule over his brother through debt by means of lending through finance. You a wicked bastard. That's right. And if you don't like it, eat doodle and die. Ezekiel 18:6. And have not eaten, he said, let me read verse 5. He said, if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Yasharal, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a menstruous woman, and have not oppressed any, and have restored the debtor his pledge, meaning that if somebody gave you, where's an example of somebody giving somebody something for collateral for a debt? Judah and Tamar. He gave her a pledge, did he not? When he come back with what it is he had to pay her, she had to return the pledge. So if I say, hey, man, I need to borrow $500, and you say, hey, I want to hold your car till you pay me. Okay, that man pay you, you got to get that car back. You can't hold it. You know, some people hold something for a pledge and don't give it back. He said, have restored the debtor his pledge, and have spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, have covered the naked with a garment, and have not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase, have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, and have executed true judgment between man and man. He have walked in my statutes, he have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is righteous, and he shall surely live, saith Yahuwah Alahym. Yeah, I know. Look at what he said about the wicked man in verse 12. Well, verse 10, he says, he begat a son, a robber, a shedder of blood. and do the like to any of these things, and do not any of those, but have even eaten upon the mountains and defiled his neighbor's wife, and have oppressed the poor and needy, have spoiled by violence, have not restored the pledge, have lifted up his eyes to idols, and have committed abomination, and he've given forth upon usury, and have taken increase, shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations, he shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Do you realize, man, you around here doing that, man, you got sin on your hands, boy? You ain't supposed to be lending on no usury, man. That's not the godly thing to do. It ain't. Nehemiah 5 and 7, man. And then I get to what Crystal got, and we're going to get on off of here. That's how you make merchandise of the people, too, lending on usury. You're a wicked bastard if you do it. Let that be known.
It said, then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, you exact usury.
Who did he rebuke?
The nobles and the rulers.
The rulers were doing it. Go ahead.
You exact usury every one of his brother, and I set a great assembly against them. And I said unto them, we after our ability have redeemed our brethren, the Yahudim, which were sold unto the heathen. And will you even sell your brethren, or shall they be sold unto us? They held their shalom and found nothing.
You heard that? We redeemed them back from the heathen according to Leviticus, and you're going to turn around and do the same thing? Go ahead.
Also, I said, it's not good that you do. Ought you not to walk in the fear of our Alahym because of the reproach of the heathen of our enemies? I likewise, my brethren and my servants might exact of them money and corn. I pray you, let us leave off this usury.
Stop doing it. So let's go back a little bit, Luke 16 and 13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Alahym and Mammon. Do you see how you can't serve him now? Do you see how when you make yourself friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when you fail, that they may receive you into everlasting habitations? You see how that makes sense? Because it go back to your law. That's why it said that the Pharisees who were covetous ridiculed him, because they didn't care about keeping the law. They would find out a reason to justify doing what you've seen in Nehemiah that they were doing. Taking bribes and everything. That's why Peter said, hold on. First Peter chapter 5, verse 1, listen to it. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the esteem that should be revealed. Feed the flock of Alahym which is among you, taking the oversight, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. And what do we read lucre is? It's money by injustice, right? Money by dishonesty. You ain't supposed to be doing this to get no money by dishonesty with your wicked self. Come over here to 1 Timothy chapter 3. I got this here. You going, you finish for the minute. Unless something else come to mind. 1 Timothy 3 and 1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, diligent, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, skilled to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. It's a lot of dudes can't preach because them niggas covetous and they desire filthy lucre. So you already canceled from the job. You already canceled from the job. Let me go back to this Luke 16. Let me get what Crystal asked, man. Before that doesn't get too far away from it. So Crystal says, in the church I've attended, I've seen things being sold. If people wanted to sell to the members of the church, they should wait until service is over and conduct business outside of the building. Yeah, if you're going to hustle, do that on your own time. But I ain't going to lie to you. Nigga can't serve nothing outside the building after service around here because it'll still be Sabbath and you ain't got no business hustling. Truth be told, if you waiting to come to church to sell a nigga something, your business model messed up. Listen, I ain't talking about a nigga bought something from you and you ain't seen him. You like, boy, I see you at service, I drop it off. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you came with the explicit purpose. I'm going to sell my soaps today. I got some herbs to sell. You came up here with that in mind, you evil as hell, boy. That means you came up here for the wrong reason. You ain't came up here for Yahuwah. You came up here for fiat currency. That's what you came up here for. No. You can't do that.
Last week lessons.
Nah. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this here too. Boy, you catch a nigga selling his lessons, boy, God ain't with him. It's used to. It's niggas doing it now. I'm talking about Hebrews, nigga. If you run across a nigga and he's selling the word of God, boy, Yahuwah ain't with him. And you can get that pussy nigga and I tell him to his face. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you don't sell no word, nigga. What's wrong with y'all? And y'all be stupid enough to buy. Well, if I know a nigga selling, man, you ain't finna red top me no word, bro. You ain't finna sell me no purple top. Yeah, boy, I got the Leviticus 16 in the red top. No, you're not finna do me like that, bro. I promise you not. No. Well, if you want to preach it on Patreon, and the only way I can get word from you is on Patreon, you evil as hell. It's different if you giving content, you know what I'm talking about, whatever the case may be, that's not exclusively like I'm breaking down word. If I got to get on your Patreon to hear you preach, well, pussy nigga, and I'll tell you that to your face too. You wicked bastard, you making merchandise of the people. Oh, filthy lucre type nigga. Why the hell I got to pay you to hear the word? I got to pay you, my nigga? That mean I already know your word trash. I already know your word trash because you trying to get me to pay for it. Because you know I wouldn't come fool with you if it was free. Oh, I want to go back and listen to it later. I got to buy it? Man, I started to say something disrespectful. Let me just come and read this here. Luke 16:13. Man. No servant can serve two masters, for either will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Alahym and Mammon. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, you are they which justify yourselves before men. See, you're going to make this righteous before men. But Alahym know your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of Alahym. See, these niggas are trying to make it right in the sight of men, what they doing. The law and the prophets until John, since that time, the Malkuth of Alahym was preached, and every man pressed into it. It is easier for Shamahim and a rat to pass than one tittle of the law to fail. That man said it's easy for him to make a new heaven and a new earth than his word to fail. See, that means you got to keep the law. They miss what he was talking about. That man say it's easier for a new heaven and new earth to come than for his word to come back, boy. You better know and understand it. Man, let your wood be esteemed. Hallelujah for y'all in the word, man. We out of here for the night, man. Y'all willing, man, we'll be back tomorrow, man. It'll be the last day of the feed, man. So that'll be an 8:30 start time because we'll be observing that last Shabbat for a man. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Perfectly, you got some understanding out the deal, man. You know what I mean? Won't be falling for these niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? Give praise to Yahuwah, man. Thank my old lady, man. She asked me what this meant for on our way around here. So that's why we was on what we was on with it. I ain't had that plan, but it worked out well. Prayerfully, some understanding was given. And you know what I'm talking about? And people be on top of their game. And the wicked nigga has some shame. Shalom, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Don't let these people make not this here, man. And also, too, if you want to donate to a ministry or whatever the case may be, you're not wrong for that. We talking about people trying to come up off of you dishonestly or preaching for the purpose of getting money. Shalom, me. For the purpose of getting money. That's not what this is for, man. Tell that nigga go get a hustle, go get a job, man. You know what I'm talking about? But get your goofy broke bumming behind from around here, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't fall for that, man. Y'all with it, man. Till tomorrow, man. We make it do what it do.